Guys, welcome back to TechDose, and in this video we will look at find all possible recipes from given supplies problem, which is from Leetcode number 2115. A prerequisite before solving this is to learn about topological sort using the Kahn's algorithm. So I have already made a detailed video using the core schedule 2 problem, which is from Leetcode 210. So you can follow the link given in the description below, learn Kahn's algorithm, and then come back to watch this video. In this problem, you have information about n different recipes. You are given a string array recipes and a 2D string array ingredients. The ith recipe has the name recipes at I, and you can create it if you have all the needed ingredients from the ingredients at I. The recipe can also be ingredient for other recipes, that is, ingredients at I may contain a string that is in the recipes. You are also given a string array supplies containing all the ingredients that you initially have, and you have an infinite supply of all of them. Return a list of all the recipes that you can create. You may return the answer in any order. Note that the recipes may contain each other in their ingredients. Now, let's look at a couple of examples. In this case, the first example is giving you one recipe, which is bread, and the bread's ingredient requirement is yeast and flour, which is already present in infinite supply in the supplies. So you can always make bread, and that is why the output is bread. If you look at the second example, the recipes are bread and sandwich. For bread, you require yeast and flour, and yeast and flour are present in the supplies in infinite amount, so bread can always be made. Yes. If you look at sandwich, it requires bread and meat. Meat is present in the supplies section in infinite amount, and bread is already a recipe. So you can always make bread first and then you can make sandwich, right? So sandwich is also possible to be made, and that is why the answer contains both bread and sandwich. I think you have got some idea. Now let's look at the constraint. In this case, the recipes and the ingredients length is n, and n is maximum 100, right? And each of the ingredients length or the supplies length can be maximum 100. So looking at these three conditions and also looking at the string size, which is maximum 10, you can imagine that if for every let's say for every recipe you are iterating through all its ingredient, and for every ingredient you want to check with all the supplies in a brute force approach, then that will be n cube approximately, and since 100 is the maximum size, it will become 10 to the power of 6. If you want to do string matching for 10 size string, then you can multiply it by 10, and you can say total operations will be 10 to the power 7, which is less than 10 to the power of 8. So the brute force solution can also pass. Okay, the simple solution, I'm saying that it can also pass. You can try that out, but we will be looking at optimal solution. Now in this case, the recipes at I, ingredients at I, j, supplies k are all in lowercase English letters. The last 2 points are extremely important. All of the values of recipes and supplies combined are unique. The meaning of this combined means if the supplies has, let's say, yeast, then yeast will never be present in the recipe. If bread is present in the recipe, then it will never be present in the supplies. That's the meaning of it. So if you are sure that something is present in the supplies section, it will not be present in the recipes, right? So this is very important. Second thing which is important is ingredients at I does not contain any duplicates. So you do not have two different ingredients which are actually the same, right? So let's look at some observation and which will help us solve our problem optimally. In this case, the three terms involved are recipes, ingredients, and supplies. If you think about the common portion between recipes and supplies, then that is not present. They are all unique, right? And the ingredients can actually be having recipe as a part of ingredient or supplies as a part of ingredient. So if you remember the example which I had shown you, using that example, if you think that the bread is requiring flour on yeast, which is present in the supplies section, that is fine, but the sandwich may require bread, which is actually a recipe. So the ingredients can point to recipes and supplies, whereas the veggies required here is actually a part of supplies, right? So an ingredient may fully depend on recipe or may fully dependent on supplies, or maybe a combination of both of them. So for a sandwich, we need bread. Therefore, the bread is a prerequisite for sandwich, and so a good way to represent this will be to make two items, bread and sandwich, and create an arrow, the dependency arrow from bread to sandwich, saying that bread should be made first before making sandwich. So this is kind of a dependency graph. it is easy to understand dependencies in the form of graph. Now if you are thinking about why this is a directed edge and why not an undirected edge, then if bread is required for making sandwich, then the opposite may not always be true. That means a sandwich may not be required to make bread. Okay, if it was true that the bread will always be required to make sandwich and sandwich will also be required to make bread all the time, it is true, then you should take undirected edges. But for dependency graph, it is recommended that you always take a directed edge. So this graph is going to be directed graph. Fine, I think it is clear. Now let me give you my example and we will try to understand how to solve this problem. So I have taken 5 recipes: bread, sandwich, burger, sauce, spices, and each of their ingredient lists are already given with the supply list. Now if I make a dependency graph out of it, like let me explain you how the graph is made. If you look at bread, then yeast and flour are required to make bread. So yeast and flour will be pointing to bread. If you look at sandwich, burger, bread and meat are required. So for sandwich, there will be an edge from bread. That means bread is required, meat, okay, the meat is required, and from burger as well. So there are 3 arrows pointing to this sandwich, and accordingly you can imagine how this graph is being made, right? Now in this graph, we are only interested in the recipes. We are not interested in the supplies. So when we make the final graph, we will not be including the pink colored supplies, right? Because that is of no interest to me. We are only interested in the recipes. We won't consider the ingredients from the supply section. Now since we already know that recipe and supplies combined are unique, as it was already mentioned in this second last point, recipes and supplies are unique. That's why if I find that yeast is present in the supply section, it will not be present in the recipe section. If you are thinking about, okay, let's say that the graph is given, how do I understand what all recipes can I make? So the recipes which have cyclic dependencies cannot be made. You can never make any of the items in the recipe list where there is a cyclic dependency. Other than that, all the other recipes can be made. So if you look at it, can you make bread? So bread can be made because yeast and flour are already available in the supplies. Can you make spices? Yes, because chili and cardamom is from the supply section, so you can always make spices. Can you make sauce? Since spices can always be made and chili and tomato are from the supply section, so sauce can also be made all the time. But can you make a sandwich? For making sandwich, bread is needed. Okay, bread can always be made. The burger is needed, but you don't know if burger can be made. So if you want to make a burger, you require bread, which can always be made, sauce, which can always be made, but you also require sandwich, which you don't know if it can be made, right? So burger requires sandwich, sandwich requires burger, and so there is a cyclic dependency. And whatever recipes are included on this cycle are actually not possible to be created. Okay, so the problem actually reduces to, given recipe, ingredient and supply list, you have to build a dependency graph out of it and then ignore all the items which have cyclic dependency and take rest of the items from the graph, and those all can always be created. So I have to make a graph out of only recipes. Okay, and if you do that, the green colored nodes are all only recipes, right? So those are my point of interest. If you create a graph with all recipes, then you have to ignore the items which are present in a cycle. And cyclic dependencies are ignored by topological sort. This is the property of topological sort. It is used to detect if a directed graph has a cycle. Okay, if you know this property, then you will understand why topological sort is used here. Okay, now you know why topological sort is used. So there are 2 solutions to topological sort. One is by DFS, another one is by BFS. I always like the BFS approach, so we will be going with BFS or the Kahn's algorithm, right? If you know the Kahn's algorithm, then we need to maintain the in degree of all the nodes within the graph, which will be used to process the Kahn's algorithm. And we will be making the adjacency list as well. So step 1 in this problem solution will be to make the adjacency list and also to update the in degree of each of the nodes, right? Now let me show you how to make the adjacency list and also update the in degree. So I will be iterating for each of the recipes one by one. So if I go to this bread, then I will be checking its list, yeast and flour. So first I will look at yeast. I will first check if it is present in the supplies section. An easy way to check into a set of items is to actually convert this supplies array into a set, so that your check will take order of 1 time on average, right? So I will be taking supplies in a set, and then it will be easy for me to check. So if yeast is present in the supplies, it will never be present in the recipe. And so if bread is dependent on yeast and if it is from supply section, then there should be an arrow from yeast to bread, but I will be ignoring all the supplies. So I will not update my adjacency list for that. Okay. Now, whenever I start for any item, I will always be updating the in degree count to 0 before iterating over the ingredient list. Okay. Now let's go to the next item, which is flour. Is flour present in the supplies? Yes. So I will not be adding it into the adjacency list. And we are done for the bread. Bread do not have any other recipe requirement. Now let's look at the sandwich. I will create an entry for sandwich with an in degree value of 0 and iterate over each of the ingredients. So if you look at the burger is not present in the supplies. That means burger must be present in the recipe. So I can create an adjacency list and create an entry for burger, because there has to be an edge from burger going into the sandwich, right? From burger there will be an edge to sandwich. Therefore the prerequisite for sandwich will be burger. So the adjacency list key is the recipe, and the value is where this recipe is actually required. That means the required for list. So for making sandwich you require burger. Fine. Now let's go to bread. If you look at bread, it is not a part of a supply, so it must be a part of recipe. So I will create an entry for bread, and bread is required to make sandwich, right? And since 2 items are inserted here for the sandwich, when burger was inserted, I will increment the in degree by 1, and when bread was inserted, then I will increment the in degree by 1. Now, because it has 2 recipe dependencies, bread and burger right now. Now let's look at the meat. So you require meat, but meat is present in the supply section, so no update will happen because this will be ignored from our graph. Okay, we are done with sandwich. We will be going to burger. Now when we go to burger, we will be creating a new entry for burger with an in degree value 0. Now burger actually requires sandwich. Sandwich is not a part of supplies, so I can create an entry for sandwich and say that sandwich is required to make burger. And so the in degree of burger will increase by 1. Meat, it is a part of supplies, so no change will happen. Bread is not a part of supplies, so bread is required to make burger, and the in degree of burger will increase by 1. It becomes 2. Now sauce is not a part of supplies, so sauce must be a part of recipe. Okay, so since it is a part of recipe, I can insert sauce is required to make burger, and I can increment the in degree value of burger to 3, and we are done. Once we are done, go to the next item, which is sauce. So I can create an entry for sauce with an in degree value 0 and see what all items are needed. Tomato is needed, which is already a part of supply, so no change. Chili is needed, which is already a part of supply, so no change. Spices are needed. Spices is not a part of your supply, so it must be in the recipe section. So spices adjacency list will be added, and spices are required to make sauce. So the in degree of sauce will increase by 1. Fine, we are done. Now we go to the next item, which is spices, and I will create an in degree entry for spices with in degree value 0. And now I can iterate for chili. Chili is already in supply section, so no change will happen. Cardamom is also a part of your supply, so no change is going to happen. Fine, and we are done. So all the in degree recipes have been added with whatever is there in degree, and you have also created the graph. Now the meaning of this graph is the burger is having only one edge, which is going to sandwich. This means that sandwich requires burger. Similarly for bread, there are 2 items, which is sandwich and burger. That means bread is required by both sandwich and burger. 1 entry for sandwich because sandwich is required by burger. Sauce is required by burger. Spices, because spices are required by the sauce. This is the process to make adjacency list and also update the in degree. This can be done together. Okay, so step 1 is done. Now I have already created the graph for our example, and these are the in degree values, and you see this will be the recipe required for list, which is our adjacency list, right? Now, if I apply the Khan's algorithm, we have to take a queue and we will process the queue until the queue becomes empty. And I will create an answer list which will be returning the recipes that we can form. I will iterate through this in degree array first, and I will be inserting into the queue what all items are having in degree 0. So bread is having in degree 0, spices are having in degree 0. So those can always be made. Now I will be processing it until the queue becomes empty. I will take out the first item and I will add it into my answer list. Done. Now I will check if bread has been added. Now if bread is removed, then the outgoing edges will be lost. So look at the outgoing edges. It is going to sandwich and burger. So if you remove bread, then the sandwiches in degree value will decrease by 1 and the burgers in degree value will decrease by 1. None of them actually reach to 0, so they cannot be added back into the queue. Now you take out spices and insert it into your answer list, and if spices is actually removed, then this edge is removed to sauce. So look at the spices, it is having only one adjacent item, sauce. So sauces in degree value will become 0. Since it becomes 0, it can be a new start point of the topological sort. So sauce will be added into the queue. We are done. Now take out sauce. Insert sauce into your answer list and look at the adjacency list. So if sauce is removed, all the outgoing edges will be removed. So what is the outgoing edge? It is only to burger. So burger's value will decrease by 1. It is not 0, so it will not get added. Now since the queue is empty, we are done and we can only make these 3 recipes, which is bread, spices and sauce. I think this should be clear. So this is your step number 2 and we have solved and we will be returning our answer. Fine. In the entire solution, making of the adjacency list requires order of v plus e time. So in this case, everything is measured in terms of n. So you can say that the time complexity will be the number of recipes multiplied by the number of ingredients, because for every recipe there will be certain set of ingredients, right? And in the constraint it is mentioned both to be n. So I can write an n square for it, and the supplies is also maximum 100. So you could have taken an n for it. So I can write order of n square as the time complexity. For the space complexity, it will be v plus e, where you can say that it will be n plus n, so order of n, right? Which is required by the adjacency list, queue and the in degree. I think this is clear. Let's now look at the code. If you are someone who is looking to prepare for top product based company within a limited time of just 3 months, then we have brought for you both the DSA and the system design live interview training program. The most important feature of this program is you get a filtered and condensed structured curriculum, in-depth discussion of all the topics, and my guarantee of your understanding, one-on-one guidance with me, and live weekend classes. To know more about the training, you can WhatsApp us on this given number. In this problem, we are given the recipes list, ingredients list and the supplies. So I will be taking the adjacency list and the in degree value, and I will be making the in degree value update along with the adjacency list building. So this is step number 1, which I have already shown. So I will be keeping the supply, actually all the supplies, into a supply set, so that searching if an item is present in the supply is taken as average over time. Now I will be iterating for each of the recipe, and as soon as I go to a recipe, I will set the in degree value to 0. Then I will look at all the ingredients within that recipe. If the ingredient is not present in the supply, then that means it must be a recipe, and if it is a recipe, that means the in degree value will increase for that recipe, and it will be added to the adjacency list as I have already shown in the dry run. This is step number 1. Once it is done, then we need to push all the start points into the topological sort, because we are trying to apply the Khan's algorithm here, right? So I'll be pushing all those nodes for which in degree is 0 into a queue, which is done. After that, I will be processing until the queue is empty. So I'll be taking out the front of the queue, and then I will be checking what are the outgoing edges from that recipe, and I will be trying to remove them by decreasing the in degree of all the adjacent items. If for any of them, if the in degree value reaches to 0, that means it becomes a new start point in the topological sort and it can be added in the queue. After having processed this entirely, the result will be containing all those recipes that we can make. So this is the entire code, and I hope it is clear. If you still have any doubt, then feel free to comment below and I'll try to help you as soon as possible. Like and share our video and subscribe to our channel in order to watch more of these programming videos. See you guys in the next video. Thank you.